Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CWV Writing Clinic. I'm Dr. Deb, and I'm excited to share with you some writing tips and tools for Christian Worldview 101. A lot of students come to this class with preconceptions of what this class is going to be and how to write academically for it. I wanted to share some culture and some etiquette for this particular class because I know that every class is different, every professor is different, and the expectations about how to write or how to form your writing are a little bit different for this class because number one, it is very academically rigorous. Number two, it is also very introspective. So there are ways that you can write where you can find your writing voice. That is one of the things we're going to talk about, and also write academically and write strong, even though you might not have to use third person all the time. You can use your voice and bring it out more. So we're going to have an introduction, basically talking about finding your writing voice, talking about APA formatting, citations and references, and then the Q&A is basically some questions and answers that I've heard often in my classes. So let's get started. So, how do you find your writing voice? Well, I want you to put all these preconceptions away. Almost you have to take what you learned before and forget it. Not entirely, but forget most of it because it's a little bit of a different way of writing. Be authentically yourself. Yes, you. I want to hear your thoughts, your heart, your mind. You need to be yourself. I don't want you to be anybody else other than yourself. A lot of times students come into this class and they think, oh, I have to sound like I'm a Christian. Oh, I have to sound like I've got it all together. Oh, I have to sound like I'm academic professional enough, or I don't measure up somehow, or maybe I already write good. So what else do I need to learn? Well, I want to tell you that it's okay to write in your voice. It's okay to share your thoughts. It's okay to interact with the textbook and the topic material in a way that only you can. All right. Don't be afraid to be authentically yourself. If there are any problems, I'll talk with you about it and we'll get it sorted out. But I want you, first of all, to be yourself. Secondly, your voice matters. What you have to say and the way that you want to write it matters. Take your time. This is not going to be something that is going to happen like within a few minutes. This is something that you are developing over time, and you cannot become a good writer overnight. It takes time. I don't consider myself the best writer, but it has taken me years to learn how to craft certain sentences and writing styles that are endemic for me, that I feel like fit my personality. And it's just a matter of doing the work and thinking on it. When you take the time to sit and think through what you're writing, you can even use a voice to text writing tool to get your thoughts onto the paper. That's fine too. Some people like to use pen to paper and then type it out. That's fine too. Whatever helps you to write something in your own way. And again, the third thing that goes with this one is to take the space and make the atmosphere something where you can write and you can do whatever you need to do. For me, it's worship music. Christian worship music always helps get me in the mood to write because I can have my spirits lifted, and I know a lot of it's like, for me, when I listen to it, it's just uplifting and some of it's repetitive. So I'm not really thinking about the words. I know that sounds funny, but it helps me to feel like I'm worshiping God. And at the same time, I'm not worried about what's happening beyond me. It's just helping me to be more focused in on writing. So allow yourself a good atmosphere, whatever works for you, and then the space and the time to write and to answer your questions on your assignments. So let's keep going. Okay, so some tips. These are crucial when you are doing the assignments. First of all, read the topic materials first. So read. Or if you have trouble or a disability where you might not be able to sit and read for an extended period of time. My son is on the spectrum and he has to read and then sit with us and read, and then he has to go run, then he has to come back. So whatever you need to do, or if you listen in an audible book, we have audiobooks, we have videos that go with it. If you are a visual learner, just take the time to ingest the material before you answer any of the questions. So read, and then after you've ingested the material, however you ingest it, listening, reading, think about it. Just take the time to think on what you are listening to, what you're reading, what you are understanding. Think on it. Just take a minute. Take a couple of minutes to think about it and think how it all works together. And if you have questions about something, go back to the material that you have questions on. So it's very easy to just read over something. I've done it so many times. I read it and then I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. What did I just read? Or what did I just listen to?" And then I go back to it and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense." And you're making the connections there. So read, think. And then after you've done that, close out the book or the screen or the phone, whatever you have been reading from, close it out. Get rid of it. Don't use it. Don't open it. Close it. Because when it is closed, you're less likely to unintentionally plagiarize from whatever source you're using. Sometimes I get a lot of students that use the work and I'm like, how did you do this? And they use the topic overview or the textbook, but there are too many words from the source without proper citation or proper quotes or proper anything. It's unintentional plagiarism. The best way is to close it out and then just answer from your heart. Answer the questions. It's fine to answer the questions or write. If you're doing this for the essay, just write what you know and then kind of go back later and then insert the citation as to where you got that information. So you can do that either the whole assignment or you can do that section per section, whatever works the best. But when you are writing, close out whatever source you are using and just write from your heart. Some students are like, well, if I can't use this, how can I write professionally? Just write. I'm not asking for you to write at a graduate level. I just want to hear your heart. I want to hear that you're processing the material. I'm not going to count down on um, word use, like if you're not using the correct terminology, unless it's something that is totally off base. You know, if you decide to use the word, let's see, represented or stood for, and you're not using the word embodiment, I'm not looking for that kind of thing. I am just looking for your heart, how you would present it in a way that you understand it. So close that out. And then after that, write. Take the time to write. Again, like I mentioned earlier briefly, you could either use the voice to text tool. One student of mine said, I started using the voice to text tool and it has just totally changed my writing. So she just talks it out as if we were having a conversation. If you and I were sitting together and we were going over the assignment and I asked you these questions, how would you respond? That's the idea for the assignments. Now you can either type it out. I have tried voice to text and sometimes it works for me, but most of the times I have to type it because I've just been typing for so long in my writing career that it feels more natural when I'm typing it. For you, it might be easier to talk to text and then have that on your page. And then after you've written it out, That's when you go back and you do the editing. You add the citations as to where exactly you got that idea from, because every idea that you're presenting that is not from your original thoughts, your mind, if you didn't create it, if let's say, for example, the idea of theistic evolution, even though you might believe it, it doesn't mean that it started or originated from you. You're going to cite the place where you got the idea from, and that would be, even though the textbook didn't originate that idea, it is presenting it and it is telling you about it, and it's got supporting detail as to the books and the places where it came from. So you can just cite the textbook or the topic overview and you'd be fine. So, like, that's the same for belief systems when you are talking about your beliefs. For example, if I say that I believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and I am a Christian, and for me to be a Christian is to follow Christ. I could integrate the verse that says follow me as I follow Christ, or John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. So that's John 3:16. I could bring that into it and just put a John 3:16 because that's a core verse. So in that way, I'm going back in, I'm looking over what I've written, I'm refining it, and I am editing what I need to edit, what I need to fix, what I need to update, and what might be repetitive. After you go back and you cite your sources, you've got a PDF that you can use. Please use the help aid template. I've got examples of citations there. I've got examples of citations in the announcements. I've got examples of references. If you have a question about how to reference something or how to cite it, I am more than happy to help you. Send me a message. And I'm thrilled when I get those types of questions because I love to help you learn how to write better as well. I know this is a Christian worldview class, but I try to help you get to the expectations that I have for you. So this is basically my Q&A. Here I get a lot of questions about if you can use Grammarly, if you can use Google paraphrasing, Paraphrasely, and all the things. I have specific policies not to use AI at this point in time because I think that you can do better, that you can write better than AI can. Right now, AI, like I said in the beginning, it's part of that process of writing in the same manner and it lacks originality. It will use the same terms, the same flow of thought. It doesn't really help aid in originality and it changes the Christian worldview understanding, and it lends it more toward uh, a particular point of view, which isn't what we've been talking about all along. So that's another reason why I ask you to stay away from that. You can use the voice to text. You can use the Lopes Write. When you put your assignment through Lopes Write, you wait and it will give you a percentage of similarities and it will give you a percentage. It will show you, it will underline in green for you where to fix grammar, where to fix spelling, and where to fix punctuation. And those are the three things that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything else. So if it's on Lopes Write, you have used it or you haven't used Lopes Write, make sure you're using Lopes Write because it will catch the things that AI actually doesn't. There are some things that I notice about AI that it doesn't always do the things that I've asked you guys to do as far as punctuation, capitalization, and grammar. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can contact me at my office number 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Arizona time. And also, I think messages can be best, but if there's this misunderstanding and you're like, oh, I think that she's mad at me, and you can't tell my tone, then please just talk to me, call me. Let's set up a time together to meet. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this helped. Bye.